Hey, everybody. Welcome to Never Alone Homestead. Look, guys, I have been up since about 3 a.m. and I was out the door around a little after 6, and I was out in the garden doing some things while the weather has been actually awesome today. The temperatures were up to about 87, and it's right now that's got an overcast, and it's so cool. It's so nice. It's so lovely. You know, it's not burning up. It's not cold. It's not windy. It's not raining at the moment. So I want to share with you what my garden is doing, okay? Listen, guys, look at these tomato plants right here. Look at them. They are growing like a weed. If I can get this down here so you can see it. So what I do today is that I prune some of this foliage back, these leaves, because when I came out here with all the rain that we've had, it has actually just took these tomato plants and just boosted it right on up, which is exactly what I wanted to do. But I decided this morning to come out here and cut some of these leaves back, and the sun has wilted them a little bit, and there was a lot of them because I couldn't even see the blooms. And the reason I want to cut them back some is so that I can see actually what is going on in there. I can see my tomato plants. See my tomatoes. I can see my blooms. And so I can see if there's any bugs in there. I could see if there's any worms in there. I could see if there's any rottenness in there. And so I cut it back, and I was amazed that when I cut back how many blooms I actually had here in the garden. And one of the things I want to share with you is while you're cutting back, my grandmother used to call these suckers. So down here you can see where I had cut some of these little limbs, lower limbs off, and Grandma used to call them suckers. And so they would pretty much suck the life sort of out of the plant. And last year I decided to test some things and just let my tomatoes grow, thinking that maybe I would get more tomatoes, just testing testing the ground, just testing it out. And what I found out is that I had a whole big bush tomatoes with no tomatoes on them, just a few. So this year I decided just to go and cut some of this foliage back so I could see what's going on with these tomato plants. And I know the possibility I could have cut some of these leaves back and probably cut out some of my tomatoes. But the way I look at things is that if it cuts it back, it's going to take that what went to those leaves, that part right there, and push it into the other tomatoes and make them bigger. You know, it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality of your vegetables. And so today I went through and cut some of these leaves out. And one of the things I want to tell you is that while you're cutting, don't do like I did and take and cut some of your tomatoes off. This had like 4 blooms and 3 tomatoes on the bush. I actually cut the wrong one. And I said, oh no, I cut my tomatoes. But, you know, I take everything as a learning process. And I want to be sure to tell you that it is a good thing to cut your plants back. So all that growth can go to your tomatoes and not just be a bush. Okay? So also I went down here, and these are the onions. And I know it's a little late, but since I already had the bulbs, I decided to go ahead and plant them. I like to take these right here and put them in potatoes. So if it doesn't produce any bulb down here, or a big bulb, then I'm going to be watching this foliage right here, this onion right here, make sure it doesn't get too tough, and it's starting to get, because it's getting later in the summer. And if it starts dying out or whatever, I'm going to cut this off. I can put it in different things, especially potatoes, or I can dehydrate it. So down here, you'll see how lovely these cucumbers are doing. Now, I know I got a lot of cucumbers in there, but this is the thing, guys, is that I want to make sure that the strong does survive. I want the strong ones. Eventually, if it's a weak plant, it'll start dying out. And probably as they're doing as well as they are right now, then I'll take a few of them to my mother and plant them for her. As I noticed today, guys, that here, these cucumbers are starting to put out this right here, which hooks upon this fence, and it'll crawl up the fence and up a trellis or anything else you put out. And while I was down here, I don't know if I can get a picture of it. And maybe if I got on the other side, I don't know if you can see it or not. But guys, there are cucumbers in here. This is got some dirt on it because we've had a lot of rain. And it's going to crawl. It's starting that way to crawl up. See this one right here? See how it's starting to go up? And that's a good thing. That's a good sign. So I've got a little bloom right there. I don't know if I can get you to see that. Okay? I'm trying to get you to see that. And they got blooms on. They got little cucumbers on them. And so I'm excited about that. And as time goes on, I will start taking some of these out, because if you got too many plants, then your plants cannot grow efficiently. They'll be crowded out, and then you won't get actually the proper vegetable that you want to get. So I'm just going to watch these, because this year has been a season that I've had to replant, and I've never had to replant before. But you know what? You got to be determined. So here, guys, my squash. That's a squash plant. And I got squash down the rows. I see them coming up, but this year, usually by now, I usually have squash coming off. Actually, I got started a little bit later than I like to. And so, because I had surgery, and so that kind of, put things off, and I just didn't want to be stupid and just get out here and start working and mess myself up. So I got behind a little bit on my gardening. And so usually like now I would have squash, but some reason this year I'm having a time with these squash. Now, I'll be watching them, and what I do is I take the plants, and as they grow, if it becomes too crowded, and I just pick them up. Hero, stop, Hero. Sorry. So, and over here, guys, it's my cat. He never comes out here, but you know how animals are. They see you doing something, talk, and they say, hey, talk to me. So, guys, I got my okra coming up, and you see Hero. Hero, stop. So, I got my okra coming up, but okra likes hot weather. It likes the ground really warm. And when it gets really warm, and we've had some cooler temperatures here, down in the 40s at night, and sometimes getting up to 70, 80, and dropping all kinds of fluctuating temperature. So once this ground starts really warming up, these okra will just push right on up. The little warm days that are getting to hot temperatures, it's really been kind of nice, but hot, kind of nice. Nice hot. But this okra will just take off. Over here, guys, I got my butterbeans, green butterbeans. I actually forgot the name of them, but they will produce like little tiny green butterbeans. They're really good with okra, putting okra in them, or potatoes. And so they're doing really excellent. And also in between these today, as I was going through hoeing, I forgot that I had planted some bell peppers. So the bell peppers are coming along. But I did notice today that some of my okra, I was like, it looked like something was eating on it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't see anything. And then as I was trying to push the dirt around the roots, because we had a lot of rain, then I saw some little ants. So what I did, I went and put some 7 dust on them, because ants, we call them fire ants here down into the south. But they're red ants. And when they bite you, it feels like fire, especially if you scratch it. And so what I did is I went and put 7 dust on these few plants of where I saw the ants. Possibility that's what was messing up my okra, a couple of my okra plants. And so if that's the case, it will stop it. There's no vegetable onto the okra right now. The rain will wash the 7 dust away. But if you do not kill the ants, if that's what it is, if you got ants on your okra, you need to try to figure out how to get rid of those ants, because they will get all over your plant and they can kill your plant. So in between these vegetables, I also got the onions planted different places, because like I said, I I had the little bulbs, and I decided to go ahead and plant them just to see what they would do. And this tomato plant right here, I found just thrown away behind Walmart and just dried up, sort of the dirt, the potting soil, which is all dried. And so it's came a long ways. I'm thinking about kind of digging that one up, maybe taking it to my mom, and because she usually plants, but she's kind of getting up there in age, and so I think she'll like that. So if I take her some plants and get it over there and kind of plant it for her, I think she'll like it. Especially if she gets a few tomatoes and some cucumbers, which she'll get it from me, but you know, it's nothing like growing your own stuff. Watching it grow, watching it come about, watering it. So there's something special about growing stuff. You know, guys, everything starts with a seed. It starts with a root. I'm trying to put you up here. So, you know, and sometimes our thoughts can take us the wrong direction. A thought is a seed into your life. It can be a good seed. It can be a bad seed. And if you think on that thought long enough, whatever it is, if it's a good thought or a bad thought, it's going to produce. It's going to multiply. That's why you see, if you got a dream or you got a plan, you got something you want to do, and you think about it long enough, you will find yourself doing exactly that, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. So we have to, you know, make sure that we're thinking on good thoughts. You know, God expects us and wants us to plant things. He says in Genesis chapter 1, we'll read it here, and it says, "And then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bears fruit with seed in it according to their various kinds." Verse 12 says, "And God saw that it was good." Verse 29, "Then God said, I will give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, and they will be yours for food." You see, God wants us to get back to nature. He wants us to grow our stuff. He wants us to be more self-sufficient. Not only that, I've said this in another video, it gives you a peace of mind. So today, guys, I just want to share with you what's in my heart. Watch your thoughts, because your thoughts multiply. And they'll multiply good or they'll multiply bad. With this home front here, it started with a seed. It started with a thought. And then it had a whole lot of work in between that. But there was some determination. And then one day you just look up and you see what you've been thinking about. Because what you think about, you bring about. All right, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Like I said, got one other thing. So this morning, right, there's another tomato plant. Okay, so I trimmed it this morning. It had grown like almost 3 times the size with the rain. And there's blooms all in there. There are a few little couple of tomatoes in there and blooms. This is pretty much my, where I come out in my kitchen, and there's a climbing cucumber, pickling cucumber down there. But this is where I throw stuff from my kitchen at. Nothing here goes to waste. It either goes here as like compost in a sense. It fertilizes this right here. I usually plant a couple of tomato plants right here. It's got a couple of tomato plants and some cucumbers in there, which I'm hoping it'll grow up. I'm going to let it grow here on this wood right here. Something new, you know, it's just a thought, right? Thoughts produce. And today, this apple tree right here, I took and I trimmed it back. It has grown so much with this rain. Guys, last year, this thing, I bought it, and it was about that big. Not even that big. And it's grown that much. With water, love and kindness, looking after it, watching it. You know what? It has become an apple tree. And one day, I'm looking forward to seeing apples on that tree. Now I've got another one. It's not as big as this one because I have a dog that you can hear in the background. She has I would say, a behavior issues. She's came a long ways. She's a rescue, and she's came a long ways, but she has a tendency when she gets mad, she barks, or she wants to tear up something other. But like I said, she's came a long ways. You know, she's with me, and she'll be all right, because I have another one as a rescue. And, you know, sometimes people raise animals up, and they don't know what to do with it. They kind of mess them up. And then when they mess them, they become problems. They want to get rid of the problem. Well, you know, then it takes someone else with a lot of loving and kindness and patience and some discipline. You know, they're like children. You know, you got to love them and discipline, raise them up the way they should go. They will not depart from it. And so, you know, but anyway, she chewed up one of my apple trees. But it's growing. It's okay. You know, it'll probably grow bigger than this one once it's starting to take off right now. I just had to move it because of her little issue that she's seen me messing with. And she thought, oh, I'm mad. I'm gonna tear this up. So anyway, she's came a long way. She's okay. We'll be all right. But anyways, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to share, please share. If you'd like to, you know, like this video, please like it. Please subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. I'm welcome and open to any comments, and will be willing and ready to reply back to you. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. God bless you. Take care.